The picture-perfect facade has just been shattered into a million pieces. We're talking about a story that was supposed to be the American dream, a White House-adjacent fairy tale. It began in a church, steeped in family history, blasted by a future president, and for 13 years, it looked unbreakable. But behind the curated photos and the political dynasty, a different story was being written. And now, that story has exploded into the public view. Ashley Biden, the president's own daughter, has just filed for divorce, and she isn't going quietly. She's announcing her newfound independence to the entire world with a soundtrack provided by Beyoncé herself. This is not a respectful, quiet uncoupling. This is a full-blown public declaration of freedom, and we are going to dissect every single fascinating detail. Hey, what is up, everyone, and welcome to the channel. If you are here for the real stories that the mainstream news just glazes over, the kind of deep analysis that actually connects the dots, then you are in exactly the right place. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we are about to pull the curtain back on this entire situation. And believe me, this is a story with more layers than you can possibly imagine. All right, let's dive straight in. The bomb dropped on August 11th. News outlets, led by the Philadelphia Inquirer, confirmed that Ashley Biden, after a 13-year marriage to Dr. Howard Crane, had officially filed for divorce. Let's just let that sink in for a moment. 13 years! In the normal world, that's a significant chunk of a lifetime. In the high-stakes, high-pressure world of a major political family, it's an eternity. This wasn't a rumor from an anonymous source. This was the real deal, confirmed by her own representatives. The legal process has begun. The chapter is officially closed. But this is where the story pivots from a standard celebrity breakup announcement into something far more compelling, something deeply personal and intensely modern. Ashley Biden decided not to let the press or the public write the narrative for her. She decided to write it herself, using the most powerful tool of our time, her Instagram account. On the exact same day that the world learned of her divorce filing, she posts an Instagram story. It's a simple video of herself walking through a park. The sun seems to be shining. She looks directly into her phone's camera and, with a look of quiet confidence, gives a deliberate, firm thumbs up. Now, a video of a walk in the park is one thing, but the soundtrack she chose for this specific moment, that's everything. She set the video to the song Freedom by Beyoncé. Freedom! Not a sad ballad, not a song about heartbreak and tears. She chose a thunderous, powerful, raw anthem about breaking chains and fighting for liberation. Let's think about those lyrics for a second. Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. This is not the musical choice of a woman wallowing in sorrow. This is a battle cry. It's a declaration of independence. In one 15-second clip, she told the world everything it needed to know about her state of mind. She isn't a victim to be pitied, she is the protagonist of her own liberation story. Honestly, from a strategic standpoint, it's genius. It's raw, it's authentic, and it's so much more powerful than some sterile lawyer-approved press release. She's essentially saying, don't you dare feel sorry for me. I'm celebrating this. And she was just getting warmed up. Shortly after, she reposted a quote. This wasn't just some random inspirational phrase, it was a mission statement. The quote read, "New life, new beginnings means new boundaries, new ways of being that won't look or sound like they did before." And just in case the message wasn't landing with enough force, she set this post to another perfectly chosen track, Freedom Time by the iconic Lauryn Hill. So in the span of a few hours, she's built a divorce power anthem playlist featuring two of the strongest female voices in music history and broadcast it to the world. Let's break down that quote because it's so incredibly telling. New life, new beginnings, that's standard breakup speak. But it's the next part that's crucial. New boundaries. That word boundaries is so important. It implies that the old boundaries were not working. It suggests a life where perhaps her own needs, her own identity were compromised. It speaks to a decision to build fences to protect her own well-being, to redefine who gets access to her and on what terms. New ways of being that won't look or sound like they did before. This is her telling us loud and clear, the person you thought I was, the life you thought I lived, that's all over. I am changing fundamentally, and you're all gonna have to get used to it. It is an act of profound self-reclamation, plain out for all to see. To understand the sheer magnitude of this ending, we have to go back to the fairy tale beginning. Let's rewind to 2012. This wasn't just a wedding, it was an event. Ashley Biden, the daughter of the sitting Vice President of the United States, was marrying Dr. Howard Crane, a successful plastic surgeon. The venue itself was laced with deep personal meaning. They tied the knot at St. Joseph on the Brandywine Roman Catholic Church in Greenville, Delaware. This wasn't just a pretty church they picked out. It was the very same church where Ashley had been baptized as an infant. The symbolism is almost overwhelming. It was the start of her life and was meant to be the start of her forever. It's the kind of storybook detail that scriptwriters dream of. Everything about it was designed to signify permanence, history, and a blessed union. And at that time, her father, a proud Joe Biden, gave a quote to People magazine that is now absolutely haunting to read. He said, reflecting on the day, I think to myself, my God, my little girl, this is the right guy and he's getting a hell of a woman. You can practically feel the paternal pride, the hope, the certainty in those words. This is the right guy. It's the validation every father wants to feel, the belief that his daughter has found her perfect partner. But here we are 13 years later, and those words hang in the air with a heavy, tragic irony. The right guy is now the ex-partner in a divorce filing, and that hell of a woman is walking through a park broadcasting anthems of freedom to the world. The contrast is stark, and it's a powerful reminder that even the most picture-perfect beginnings can lead to painful endings. So the big question is, what happened? The article, of course, gives no specific reason, and it's not our place to invent one. But we can talk about the one thing we know for sure: the immense, crushing, and frankly unimaginable pressure that comes with living inside that political bubble. Most marriages are tested by jobs, finances, and everyday life. Now try to imagine navigating all of that, but with the entire world's media watching your every move. Every public appearance is scrutinized. Every vacation is a potential news story. Your every expression is analyzed by body language experts on cable news. And think about the unique pressure on Dr. Crane. He's a medical professional, a man with his own successful career who was suddenly thrust into the stratosphere of American political life. The pressure to always be on, to be the perfect, supportive son-in-law to first the vice president and then the president himself, must be suffocating. And that transition from VP family to first family is a whole nother level of intensity. The security gets tighter, the spotlight gets hotter, and the last vestiges of a private life basically evaporate. My personal opinion here is that it's impossible to look at this without a huge degree of empathy. It's so easy to dismiss these stories as just another piece of celebrity drama, but at its heart, this is a human story. It's about two people who fell in love and tried to build a life together under the most extraordinary and stressful circumstances possible. How do you have a normal, private disagreement when the Secret Service is stationed just outside your door? How do you maintain your own identity when you're constantly being defined by your relationship to the most powerful man in the world? It's a pressure cooker that most of us can't even fathom. It's very possible that after 13 years, the weight of it all just became too much to bear. Maybe the paths that seemed so perfectly aligned in that Delaware church slowly, over time, began to diverge, pulled apart by forces that the rest of us will never experience. And that's why I have so much respect for how Ashley Biden is choosing to handle this. She's refusing to be a footnote in a political story. She's refusing to be defined by the end of her marriage. With a few simple, powerful posts on social media, she seized control of the entire narrative. She didn't let the tabloids frame this as a tragedy. She framed it herself as a triumph. She told us all how we should see this, not as a moment of failure, but as a moment of empowerment. This is a woman stepping out from behind a very long shadow. And it's not just the shadow of a husband, it's the shadow of a political institution. She's making it clear that her identity is her own, separate from her marriage and separate from her famous last name. The new boundaries she's talking about are for her own well-being, a declaration that her future will be built on her terms, not the terms dictated by public expectation or political necessity. It's a bold, unapologetic, and incredibly powerful stance. This isn't just the end of Ashley and Howard. This is the very public, very loud, and very clear beginning of the next chapter of Ashley Biden, a woman who is her own person with her own voice and her own triumphant soundtrack.